I just wanna know how you feel, what you think, are you real? Through the bad and the good, you know I'll keep it real. Don't wanna go somewhere else, 'cause you're all that I need. And with you in my life, I don't need these streets.
Welcome you guys back to the Kendell Doyle Show. This is another episode and I'm so excited to be here tonight with you guys. Tonight I have a very special guest, Justin Reese. How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you so much for having me this evening. I really appreciate you.
Yes, Justin actually reached out to me like about a year ago, I believe. And I was so excited just because of your like your resume and everything that you've done. You know, you reached out to me and I'm a smaller podcast, but I was very excited that you wanted to come on and get your story out and all the things that you do to help people. And at the time, you know, the show was going through ups and downs because of COVID and you know,
Yep.
moving and stuff. But I said to myself, when I get it back up and running, definitely have to get Justin back on the show. So a little
Absolutely.
about, Justin is on Bravo. Are you still on Bravo right now? Still going on?
You know what? We are all still up in the air about that. We have, unfortunately, no idea what's going on. You know, we're still waiting to see if there's something that they want to do with us. But like I tell everybody else, I'm still a practicing attorney. I still keep my day job.
Exactly.
So you know, if we get the phone call and move forward, you know, definitely excited to do it. But if not, I am very blessed in the things that I have going on in my life. So I just keep that pushing forward as well.
And the show is called Southern Charm Nola. It's the New Orleans
Correct.
show, right? And
that is, yes.
Can you explain to me? I watched like a small preview. A lot of people are not, you know, very hip or knowledgeable on the show. So I would like for you to explain to everybody, you know, what's the show, what goes on there, what position you play in it, all of that good stuff.
No, absolutely. So the show is essentially, it's about myself and my friends here in New Orleans, and it revolves around a lot of the things that we do professionally, our personal lives, our friendships, you know, the good things that come with that, the bad things, good, bad, ugly, and different. You know, so it's capturing literally all of our life events, you know, in so many different capacities.
Okay. And so when you talk about the events and all the entrepreneurial stuff that y'all do, that goes into you being and practicing personal injury. You're an attorney.
Yeah, it does. It does. You know, it's sometimes it can be a little difficult to capture what I do as an attorney, because in my business we have what we call attorney-client privilege.
Right.
So a lot of things that we can't show, and also on top of that, the type of law that I practice with personal injury, obviously clients have injuries. That means they're going to the doctors, they have medical bills, medical records. And with that, you know, there's a lot of HIPAA that comes with that, and you have to be HIPAA compliant on every facet. So sometimes it can be a little difficult to capture what I do, at least as, like I said, as an attorney, because of that. But they do the best that they can to show, like I said, we are, like myself and my group of friends, we're all, you know, different, multifaceted, and have different skills and professions and things that we're good at.
And so you said that you wanted to build, your mission was to build a network where all of your friends and all of these people in different entrepreneurial roles, y'all come together and highlight that.
Yeah. So, you know, like I said, getting back to the premise of the show, the original show started in Charleston with the Charleston cast on Bravo. Then they had the Savannah cast, and then now, you know, they have us, the New Orleans cast.
Right.
And all of my group, you know, we all have different professionals. John is an artist. Barry is in the health and fitness industry. My girlfriend Kelsey is a healthcare professional. Tamika is in news and communications. Reagan is an attorney and a business owner as well. Jeff is a former NFL player, and he has now gotten into also health and training and fitness and things like that for his post NFL career. So they try to show, you know, all of the different things that we working on, how we support each other, you know, through those different things, like the dynamics of our friendship, relationships. You know, like I said, they show it's everything. It's the good, the bad, like the drama, the ugly, the indifferent. So they get it all.
So it's, to me it kind of sounds like, you know, like, because they have Real Housewives of Atlanta, but it's like
Sure.
you doing, it's Southern Charm is like not being a housewife, but showing people actually working with professions and just showing the life of that, similar to how they show the housewives life.
Sure.
Daily. Okay.
Sure. I mean, some of it is the same concept and same premise, because you know they follow us, like the restaurants and bars, or you know, brunch spots that we like to go and hang out at. And also too, I mean, kind of speaking on that, what the one thing that I really wanted to do while I was on the show is, from at least from a social aspect, was to show the many different sides of New Orleans. It's, people don't realize, no matter what city you live in, everybody has such a unique and such a different experience of that city, depending on what your scene is, your interests are, what your vibe is. And so what I tried to do my best was to be representative of everybody in New Orleans and try to show as many different experiences as possible, not just my always necessarily go-to places. I mean, obviously, you know, I want to be true to myself and say, hey, folks, like, this is me. This is the places that I really like to go to. But I also want to show light, like, you know, New Orleans is more than just the French Quarter and Bourbon Street. You know, you have the Garden District, you have the Lakefront, you have the Bywater, you have all of these beautiful, amazing neighborhoods that offer such a different and unique experience. And I was doing my best to try to highlight some of the different places in those neighborhoods too.
Okay. And I want to talk more about you as an attorney. So where did that come from? Like, that passion to be an attorney? Like, let's just start with your childhood.
You know, obviously, ironically enough, I did not want to be an attorney growing up. My father was a practicing attorney for several years when I was a young child. And then when I got to college, he became a judge. But I remember for the longest time when I was a child, you know, people would always ask me, hey, do you want to be like your dad when you grow up? And look, my father is a very well-respected man. He has a phenomenal legal mind. So it was actually very intimidating to even think about trying to live up to the same standard that he set. And my father, being the amazing man that he is, he always told me and said, son, you got to be your own man. I'm here to support you. You don't have to be me. I don't want you to feel like you have to do these things. You have to, you know, create your own path. I'm here to help you, but you have to create your own path. But don't feel like you have to do what I did. Whatever it is that you do in life, just be the best at whatever that is. And that's all that I care about. And when that finally sunk in, I started to think, like, you know what, maybe this is something. And also too, look, be very candid. You know, I went to Morehouse for undergrad, and just like a lot of people in general, when they start college, everybody wants to be pre-med. And so, I was like, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a doctor. Well, I realized very quickly that I wasn't quite as good in the science classes as I thought I was, like I was good in high school. So I had to figure, okay, I don't think this medical school route is going to work for me. I got to figure something else out. And so naturally, I felt law was going to be the next best option for me. And everything's been working out like it's supposed to.
Well, is it a reason that you did personal injury instead of like criminal or family?
Yeah, that's actually that's a really good question. So when I was in law school, I actually was kind of on the criminal path, to be quite honest. And what I mean by that, we have what we call our clinic, which means you actually go like work with practicing attorneys and Loyola in New Orleans has several different clinic programs. You can work at the public defender's office, you can work at the district attorney's office, you can do family law, immigration, mediation, a couple of different things. And I know doing criminal work, I was really into, like the oral advocacy, like being in front of a courtroom, being in front of a jury, talking to people, and like just the fast pace
Right.
of the criminal world. And so I got into the DA's office as a clinical student. And I'm gonna tell you, during that time when I was in law school, it was a little bit of the wild, wild west. We were doing things we technically were not supposed to be doing, in my opinion. Let's do all of it because they were understaffed, undermanned. So they just needed bodies, they needed manpower, and they let us do everything. My very first day in the courtroom, now I started in the summer, but when we got to the fall, my first day in the fall, the senior in my section saw it was me, and I had already had a little bit of experience under my belt. And he was like, "Oh, Justin, great! I didn't realize you were in my section. That's awesome. You got a felon with a firearm trial in 15 minutes. I gotta leave and go to Baton Rouge, so I need you to try this case for me." I was like, "Wait, what? I'm a student. Felon with a firearm carries 10 years mandatory in jail, and I got a jury trial in 15 minutes." I was like, "Who's the defendant?" He was like, "I don't know." I was like, "Well, where's the file?" He's like, "It's over there on the table." I'm like, "Can you give me something to work with here?" So I'm like frantically like reading the file, trying to figure out like how I'm gonna try this case.
Yeah.
And thankfully the defense counsel came and tapped me on my shoulder, asked me if I was the attorney handling. I said, "I am." And he said, "Is there any way we could work out a deal?" And I'm trying to like, keep the poker face, and I don't want him to make it seem like I'm just relieved to get it done. I was like, "Maybe there's something we can do, what you thinking?" I'm like trying to play it cool.
Mhm.
And so he gave me an offer. I went and talked to the section leader, and we actually got him to plea out a deal. So I was very fortunate. I didn't have to go to trial where I
Yeah.
only had 15 minutes to
As a
prepare.
student.
Yeah. So, but long story short, I was definitely headed down that route. And I was offered a job with the state attorney's office, which is the DA equivalent in Florida. They call it state attorney instead of district attorney in Florida.
Okay.
And it was down there in Dade County in Miami. And I remember I got offered a spot into my master's program at Temple Law.
Mhm.
So I tried to, kind of see if they'd hold my spot, do a postponement of it. And when I was at Temple Law, this was 2008, 2009. Well, we all know that was the year of the infamous market crash, like where the housing market crashed, the job market crashed, the stock market crashed, everything crashed.
Right.
And so very quickly, people started not just like getting jobs rescinded, but people started losing jobs. Like you had lawyers at these big law firms who were getting laid off. They were getting like $80,000, $90,000 severance packages and said, "Hey, we're gonna try to bring you back in a year. Good luck." And then the DA's office, because there's a lot of turnover, you have people going from the DA to go private because they've gotten some trial experience. Now they're ready to go private, start making some money as opposed to working for the government. Well, now, I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Um, yeah, but now you have a backlog because when those private law firms were sending offers, everybody at the DA's office said, "Well, I got to stay put. I need my job."
Mhm.
Well, obviously that affected me as well. And so what I did was, as I'm searching for a job, the one thing that kept happening was people kept getting into car accidents, and people kept getting hurt, while working on the job. So the only jobs that wound up becoming available were
Okay.
personal injury jobs. And it's really funny how things work out because they say everything happens how it's supposed to. I was trying to do everything in my power, actually not to come back to New Orleans, because I was like all about the super big cities like Miami, LA, Atlanta, all these big cities. And the only jobs that were available, 3 law firms and 3 amazing firms. They were great opportunities. They were some of the more prominent firms in the city. and they knew that I had a lot of trial experience. So with that being said, that kind of wound up being really my only opportunity to get a job during that time period. So
Right.
I had to take it. But in retrospect, it all worked out because I'm super happy that I came back. You know, my career has been growing.
You were born and raised in Louisiana? New Orleans.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
never hear it for some reason.
I used to have it. I used to have it. I used to have it. And as I've gotten older, you know, doing a lot of trial work, working with speech coaches and things like that, you know, I've kind of shed it. But once I'm amongst friends and, you know, I got a few drinks, it comes out.
My stepfather is New Orleans, like he's born and raised. So when I tell you, when I hear it like it be so thick. Like what you just say, it be super thick. So
Yeah, it can be, and mine used to be like that as well.
yeah, really thick. But you have you're also an agent for NFL.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that. And I also want to know like about your passion, like all of these things. Your passion, is that what you were passionate about, or was it just that's just the route you had to take?
You know, that's kind of one of those other stories where it's something that kind of happened by circumstance. It wasn't something that I was actually even looking to do.
Right.
So a close friend of mine who was an agent for a while, he's from New Orleans, he's a practicing attorney.
Mm-hmm.
I played football in college and in high school. My high school is known for being a very prominent sports high school here in New Orleans.
Okay.
And we had a lot of guys who've made it to the NFL from my high school. And then again, I went to college, played college football. So I had a few friends who were also from college who were in NFL. And he was always telling me, you know, you know all these guys, you should be representing them. And I was like, man, I don't want to be an agent. I don't want to be an agent. I don't want to be an agent.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was working on me for like 2 years. And he finally wears me down and I break down. I'm like, all right, fine. I'm gonna go take the test, get certified to be an agent. But here's the irony of this whole story. The whole reason why he was convincing me was because I had a lot of friends from high school and from college who were playing in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
By the time I get certified, they're already at the end point of all of their careers. Because now at this time, either they're in their late 20s, early 30s, and you know, as a professional athlete, that's like getting to the end of your professional athlete career. So here it is, I'm now getting certified, and anybody that I could have potentially represented is now working their way out the door. And so, you know, I get certified, work with my friend for a couple of years. We've represented some really amazing guys. It's been more of like kind of like a side job. It's not, you know, I'm not sitting here telling lies like, oh, I've got like all these super popular and extravagant players, but I've worked with some really good, hardworking, down to earth guys, you know, who have had some success and did some good stuff in the NFL as well.
Great. That's good. So, like you said, you were born and raised in New Orleans. So, were you there? Did you experience Katrina at all?
Yes, that was actually my first year of law school. So, you know, I was supposed to. Oh yeah, it was tough. I was supposed to start class on Monday. You know, the storm hit August 29th. I was supposed to start class August 30th. Well, we all know what happened. And I'm in Baton Rouge with my family, my mother, my father, my brother, my 2 godmothers. I mean, we were all out there, and we're watching what's going on in the news. We wound up staying in a hotel for like 4 weeks, and my law school finally said that they were going to open up a satellite school at the University of Houston. So that was kind of like my refuge, my saving grace for me to get out of Baton Rouge, because Baton Rouge was a nightmare at that time.
I bet. I've heard, like I said, my stepdad is from there, so I've heard very like just very sad and just like stories that are just like touch your soul. Like I can't even believe that you had to like people actually had to experience that. And it's just kind of like you don't get a break from it because it's inevitable. New Orleans or the whole state of Louisiana is below sea level. So they're always prone to get hit hard when it's hurricane season.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's something that we got to deal with. I will say one of the good things is that the Army Corps of Engineers, since Katrina, I think have done a phenomenal job about, making sure that the levees are fortified and doing the things that it needs to do to protect the city.
Mhm.
We just went through Hurricane Ida a couple weeks ago now, probably pushing close to like a month now from
Yeah.
when it hit. It's actually right at a month
Yeah. And
from when it's right at a month from when it hit. And so, that was a little bit different. A lot of people look at us and like, yeah, we do get a lot of hurricanes. Obviously with Katrina being as catastrophic as it was, it still kind of sits there and it almost kind of it makes it feel like it's representative of that's what happens all the time, and that's actually not quite the case. We deal with the annoyances of the storms. We'll lose power. This was probably an exception to the rule with Ida. This was definitely like probably one of the worst since Katrina, but we're talking about like a 15-year difference. But even the ones that we get in between, we've been very fortunate. There's never been any catastrophic damage. Yes, we might lose power for like a day or so, but comes back on, we get back rolling again. So we haven't had anything too crazy until recently. But they got some folks down there in the river parishes who are outside the flood protection zones, and they really got rocked pretty hard this time.
So you're in New Orleans right now, right?
Yes.
From Baton Rouge.
No, New Orleans.
From New Orleans. Did you move to Baton Rouge?
So yeah, like during Katrina, my family, we evacuated to Baton Rouge. We were just staying in a hotel thinking like, okay, once the storm passed, we'll go back to New Orleans afterwards. But when the storm hit and actually what a lot of people don't realize with Hurricane Katrina, the storm itself didn't really do crazy damage to the city. Because a lot of people will tell you who stayed during the storm, the sun came out, it was shining, it was bright, and then all of a sudden you just had like this tidal surge of water. So it was the levees that failed and breached, which caused the whole city to flood. But it wasn't, and I mean, obviously it was a lot of pressure against the levees, but the storm itself, it wasn't like big tornado type wind speeds that was just ripping people's houses apart like a tornado would. That did not happen. It was just with the levees breaching and the waters flooding in is what destroyed the city. Right. It wasn't the actual physical storm itself.
Yeah. And so right now with Ida, what's all going on? Like it's just trying to rebuild everything back and trying to get everything back to normal.
Yeah. So that's what's happening right now. New Orleans Parish, New Orleans, like the city of New Orleans itself, actually for the most part, did okay with the storm. It's some of the other surrounding parishes, Jefferson Parish, St. John the Baptist Parish, which are like suburbs of New Orleans. They got hit really, really hard, really hard. Lots of flooding, lots of wind damage out there.
Wow. Oh my, I'm so sorry to hear that. I love New Orleans. I went for my first time, and it's something about New Orleans that's just different from any other like place in America that I've been to. It's so homey. Like I feel like New Orleans kind of reminds me of when I go to Jamaica. It's just like the people there is what makes New Orleans. Everybody is
100%.
Yeah. Everybody.
Absolutely. Look, it's definitely the people.
It's the people.
It's definitely the people. Yeah. That's the one thing I always tell people about New Orleans. Like, all of the things that you love truly comes from the people and not what's just physically there. Like it's the food, the music, the culture. These are all things that are done every day, and it's things that bring people together. Food brings people together, music brings people together. So all of those things that are ingrained within us.
Alcohol brings people together.
Yeah, right.
But thank you, Justin. This was a very great talk, great conversation. We touched on a lot of things that I wanted everyone to know when it comes to you, and I'm so glad you gave us information about your personal injury assistance. So if anybody needs an attorney for that, they can definitely reach out to you. And just keeping us updated on Louisiana with Hurricane Ida, because that's still very new, and we still need to know about everything that's going on around there. So thank you very much.
Oh, my absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yes. All righty. Nice talking to you guys. This is the Kendell Doyle Show. Thank you for coming.
I just wanna know how you